That mighty protector of men meant to hold the monster till its life leaped out, knowing the fiend was no use to anyone in Denmark. All of Beowulf's band had jumped from their beds, ancestral swords raised and ready, determined to protect their prince if they could. Their courage was great, but all wasted. They could hack at Grendel from every side, trying to open a path for his evil soul, but their points could not hurt him. The sharpest and hardest iron could not scratch at his skin, for that sin-stained demon had bewitched all men's weapons, laid spells that blunted every mortal man's blade. And yet his time had come. His days were over, his death near. Down to hell he would go, swept groaning and helpless to the waiting hands of still worse fiends. Now he discovered, once the afflicter of men, tormentor of their days, what it meant to feud with Almighty God. Grendel saw that his strength was deserting him. His claws bound fast, Hygelac brave follower tearing at his hands. The monster's hatred rose higher, but his power had gone. He twisted in pain, and the bleeding sinews deep in his shoulder snapped. Muscle and bone split and broke. The battle was over. Beowulf had granted new glory. Grendel escaped, but wounded as he was, could flee to his den, his miserable hole at the bottom of the marsh, only to die, to wait for the end of all his days. And after that bloody combat, the Danes laughed with delight. He who had come to them from across the sea, bold and strong-minded, had driven affliction off, purged Heorot clean. He was happy now, with that night's fierce work. The Danes had been served as he'd boasted he'd served them. Beowulf, a prince of the Geats, had killed Grendel, ended the grief, the sorrow, the suffering, forced on Hrothgar's helpless people by a bloodthirsty fiend. No Dane doubted the victory, for the proof, hanging high from the rafters where Beowulf had hung it, was the monster's arm, claw, shoulder, and all.
And then, in the morning, crowds surrounded Heorot, warriors coming to the hall, from faraway lands, princesses and leaders of men hurrying to behold the monster's great staggering tracks. They gaped with no sense of sorrow, felt no regret for his suffering, went tracing his bloody footprints, his beaten and lonely flight, to the edge of the lake, where he dragged his corpse-like way, doomed and already weary of his vanishing life. The water was bloody, steaming and boiling in horrible pounding waves. Heat sucked from his magic veins, but the swirling surf had covered his death, hidden deep in the murky darkness, his miserable end, as hell opened to receive him. Then, old and young rejoiced, turned back from their happy pilgrimage, mounted their hard-hooved horses, high-spirited stallions, and rode them slowly towards Heorot again, retelling Beowulf's bravery as they jogged along. And over they swore that nowhere on earth, or under the spreading sky, or between the seas, neither south nor north, was there a warrior worthier to rule over men. But no one meant Beowulf's praises to belittle Hrothgar, their kind and gracious king. They live in secret places, windy cliffs, wolves' dens where water pours from the rocks, then runs underground, where mist steams like black clouds, and the groves of trees growing over their lakes are all covered with frozen spray, and wind down like snake-like roots that reach as far as the water and help keep it dark. At night the lake burns like a torch. No one knows its bottom, no wisdom reaches such depths. A deer, hunted through the woods by a pack of hounds, a stag with great horns, though driven through the forest from faraway places, prefers to die on those shores, refuse to save its life in that water. It isn't far, nor is it a pleasant spot. When the wind stirs and storms, waves splash towards the sky, as dark as the air, as black as the rain, that the heavens weep. Our only help, again, lies with you. Grendel's mother is hidden in this terrible home, in a place you've never not seen. Seek it if you dare. Save us once more and again. Twisted gold, heap up ancient treasures, will reward you for the battle you win.